What's going on YouTube? It's your buddy Will from the What's Up in the Sky 37 channel. We're online at www.whatsupinthesky.com. And I'm just interested. This is a Curiosity Rover shot. This is from, I believe, one of the Has cams. Let me see here what this is from. No, this was from the Nav cam, which are the black and white cams that come off of it from Saw 593. And it was a little bit darker, and I wanted to show you guys. When I see these darkened pics, I kind of get a little, like, what's going on over here? And I really want to take a look at the background of this picture and see what was going on when I pumped up the actual color to it. Because sometimes I think they hide some stuff out, or what really I think sometimes in these darker pictures that they can't really blur out the stuff like they do when they use the line blur, like what the ones I've been calling the line blur and stuff like that. If you watch the rest of my videos, so once again you've got all this very symmetrical stuff going on here, but up in here in this big dark mess up here, there's a couple of things that's interest me off the cuff here. There's a circular, looks like looks like a statue or medallion there that comes down, and there's what looks like some sort of face down here that has tubes coming out of it. And what we're going to go ahead and do, we're just going to pull this up right here, and let me show you where I got this thing. This is where I got it. All you have to do is click the description. I'm going to have it below. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet for you guys. And we'll try and see what we can do with this together. Let's see if we can't do the auto tone first. Okay, see how it already pulls out? Here's the circle piece I was talking to you about. It's like a perfect circle with something in the middle, and it comes down and winds to its. See this right here too? It also winds its way around, almost like it sticks out. And there's another circle, perfect circle right there. But this is really cool. What I'm interested in, and I know it's blurry for the people that know. It's definitely blurry, but look at the symmetry in these rocks and stuff like that. And right here, the two eyes and the mouth seems to have some sort of hoses or something coming out of it. Like I said, I think a lot of this is stuff that would have been hidden if the rover, if this wasn't part of the rover, I mean, if it was bright enough for I think it's software that does it. A lot of people think that NASA people sit there and do it. For some reason, I think there's a lot of that they're not necessarily NASA employees that are doing it, that it's more computer that takes out these anomalies, and that's why we get a lot of the perfect lines and stuff like that. I mean, that's just my theory, and it could easily be done. I mean, look at all the stuff we have with recognition now for face recognition and stuff like that. I'm sure they could figure out how to detect anomalies, or at least try to hide them a little bit. Now, it didn't give me much more, but at least gave me a part that I can work on this little spot right here. So let's work on, like I said, this spot right here. This is the interesting spot. This was the little statue I thought was pretty cool. So let's see what we can do here. Um, let's give it some exposure. And what we want to do is crank it a little bit, but we're really going to come at it with the gamma. Ooh, not that much. And we'll come back and give it some more brightness after that. And it almost looks like something that could have come right out of right off of Easter Island, or right out of one of our megalithic cities here on Earth. So it's pretty cool, if you ask me. Now, if you can't see what I'm seeing, I'm looking right here. See this right here? And if it even has some interesting symmetry down here. It looks like comes down. Whatever it is, it has these little things that come around. It almost looks like it goes into an opening that's a mouth or something there. Um, and even over here, it's more of these like this rounded question mark type thing as it comes down and goes to different. See, who knows what this stuff is on Mars? I'm really starting to wonder if we're looking at machines, if we're looking at tech, if we're just looking at a really cool um, society that was able to build, just like here, some of our ancient technology of the ancients here that built these amazing monuments. But here too, see this up here, that perfect circle? That's what really caught my eye about this picture. Every time, like I said, every time I see one of these, I'm like, let me take a look at that a little bit more and see what I can come up with, because there's always more symmetry, and this picture has an awful lot in it. Like I said, especially in the whole thing. Um, let's see if we can't keep pulling this one out a little bit better than that. I know we can. I think we can get it a little bit better. Let's try the brightness and the contrast, just with some contrast. Now, doesn't look like the flat hill that it does everywhere else, but it definitely, I mean, hopefully you guys are seeing that. Comment below, let me say if you've seen that. Here's what I'm saying. This is the face right here. It almost looks like a totem or something like that. but behind it, it's like it's got a ring around it, and the ring, whatever it is, goes into the front and comes down and then goes back to the rest of it. Let me see if we can't pull back what we've done so far. All right, and you see where it's dark there, you can barely see it. So let me try the whole picture. Let's do the exposure on it and put the gamma up and play with the exposure. Wash out that back. Now you see the straight, oh, I still had this and that's not the whole picture. Hold on, let me back out. That was not the whole picture, ladies and gentlemen. I lied. There we are. Okay, now we're going to do the whole picture. Okay, so we're going to go mode, adjustments, exposure. We're going to pump the exposure. There we are. And just the gamma just a tad, and then pump the exposure over top of it. Oh, that's bright. Sorry if I just blinded you in the middle of the night if you're watching the video. And when you do that, like I said, over here, this stuff is kind of just pixelated because it was so dark. But you can see the symmetry in here. Like look at these two like egg-looking things right here next to each other, and it runs along a some sort of what looks like pipe. It looks like I said I don't know what to call the stuff on it. It looks like piping all over all over Mars. We found it, and I say that in all my videos. But we find it. It's definitely not rocks. Rocks don't, at least they don't grow in shapes. They don't grow and come around like that. And this thing said, this thing right here definitely looks to me like it's sticking out. It's got on top of its head, it's got a headdress or something going on there, and comes down here. Like I said, it's just perfect. Hopefully you guys can see it. Here's the one eye, and here's the other eye right there. And then up here, it's like a perfect circle. It almost looks like a sun god or something like that. That made its way there. And then when it comes down, it's got some interesting like symmetry in these rocks here. Let's take a look out here since I've pumped up the exposure on here a little bit too. Let's see if there's anything that's hiding out here. Look, it looks like we have something that's sticking straight up out, just straight up and down out of the earth there. Doesn't have much of a shadow, but the shadow, like I said, the sun, there's not much shadow on this anyway because the sun's going down. It's been dark and it's a dark picture. Um, Look at that. It looks like a bridge or something between there and there that let's see if we can't pull that. Yeah, see, because you can see the actual. Well, maybe not. Maybe that's just on top of it. But you see how it looks like piping or something? It's very interesting place we are at with the rover. Some curved areas there. I mean, look at this stuff. These blocks and stuff look like they came from a cataclysm, like they were the foundation on something, like they were just blocks from somewhere else. It just doesn't look like normal shale to me, and I've seen plenty of it. Uh, Looks like Pumapunku after, or something that's been just tossed around and thrown up and thrown about these big, huge megalithic rocks. Check this out here. There's some symmetry to this little rock. Up in here, you just kind of, everything's such a mess, but that's anomalies galore up there. All sorts of stuff if you just took it one by one. And I wish we had a little bit, like I said, I wish it wasn't so blurred out to begin with because there's so much just stuff right up in here that'd be interesting that we could see. You look at just, for small potatoes, see how this has a little opening here, and it's got straight lines that go to circles, and it comes up, and it's got these lines. Up here looks like a Y. I mean, this stuff looks a lot more intricate than just rock sitting here on the side. Like right here, look at this. This looks like almost like a spider with spider legs coming out. See these? I mean, how many times do you have rocks that do circles? Do you guys see that? See the S right here? Look at that perfect S. If you don't see it, Lodge will give you a new layer. Layer, new. Like I said, I'm not going to take too long on this one since, like I said, it's a... I don't even know if it's going to give me the... Yeah, it won't give me the gray because it's not in grayscale right now, but do you see that? Hopefully you can see that that's an S right here, it looks like. So things are growing either in S's. See that? And then it's got more and more of the, whatever this stuff is, that's just coming off of it, moving around. Let's see if there's anything else. This grabbed my eye too, but I think that it looks like a little face there, but I think that was just, that's just my matrix thing in my eyes doing that, saying, oh, there's something that looks familiar. All right, let's see here. Still battling that cold. I tell you, they were out spraying today. It's been a while since they've been out here spraying, but they were out in full force today. I'm sure there's going to be some rain in the next couple of days because every time they come do it, the rain comes. All right, this is interesting over here. Let's see what we got. So this was the one thing that, did you see how these little circles are like almost perfect? And they got these little these little things on top of them, like right here and right there. And then this piece right here was the other piece we're gonna look at, and then I'll let you guys go. Even though this here and this here, look at that. This, I mean, look, it doesn't look like a barrel, and it's got two things coming out of it. But then these little things seem to be going up the mountain or whatever this little hill is. It's almost like it's the hill's being used for something. And then you've got perfect angles, actually curved angles on these rocks right here. And all this is in the dark pictures. It's almost like now that the rover's been out there for a while, a lot of the pictures, if you go back in the later sols, we miss so much because so much of us are focused on what exactly is there right at the moment as the stuff comes down. But they're finally starting to download new pictures that have been there for a long time. See this right here? Tell me that doesn't look like some sort of box or something like that or something. See, two perfect circles are in it, and they actually look like they're cut and they're knobbed out. So they're, look like softballs or something on the side of it. And they're the same size right here and right there. And up at the top, it almost looks like it's kind of a triangle. And this stuff has probably been weathered for God knows how long. This stuff's been sitting out in the weather. But have you looked through this stuff? Like I said, as I'm scrolling through, I know my subscribers, you guys are seeing more and more as I scroll through it. Let's go back to that statue real quick. The statue, I swear it's got to be a statue right here. It looks like one it looks like a totem if I've ever seen one. Adjust, exposure. Let me just do the auto stuff again. That really starts to pull it out. It's not the, let's see. See that? I hope you guys can see it. Like I said, this almost looks like it's right here. It would run through. It almost looks like it's got an X up here. It's got two eyes and a mouth. This right here is interesting. Like I said, this whole piece right here, it's got one, two. These are the exact same again. Two of the exact same size rocks right next to each other, or rocks, whatever you want to call it. Um, to me, that looks unnatural. Can't help it. That just looks unnatural to me. And I hope, like I said, I think some of my subscribers are going to think the same way, especially over here. It looks like ribs or something like that, how just they're real close together. But I'm not going to keep you guys long on this one. I just wanted to show you what was behind the mask, what they do here. They're hiding stuff. Like I said, now I think this is unintentional. I really do. I think when they got these dark pictures, a lot of these stuff, we should be brightening up. Anything dark that comes from the rover, we should be brightening it up. Let's see if we can't, just while we're right here. Now you can really see that S curve right there. See that little S right in there? Look like a P up here. I've heard people, I'm going to say this, I'm going to go. I've heard people they say that this stuff, that the rover's not even there and all it does is they're doing these CGI images. But I don't think they're CGI images. I think we're actually sitting up there with the rover. But I think there's been a civilization there for sure. Actually, it almost looks like all sorts of numbers. Look, here's a 5. There's an S. There's a P. We got all sorts of good stuff up there. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed. As I said, this wasn't too crazy or mind-boggling, but what's up in the sky 37? Hope you have a great weekend or did have a great weekend. It's Sunday. Much love to you and yours. Peace.